everybody? Welcome back to another Batman News Weekly. This is episode 108 in year 3. And man, oh man, do we got some stuff to talk about when it comes to Titans? Because, oh my God, fuck that show. But we are going to be diving into that in a little bit after we get through this entertainment news. I just woke up from a fucking nap. Clay just got a shot because he likes to step on rusty things.
I mean, for one, I am so glad that I kept those work shoes from the job that we both worked at. They were free 99
Yeah.
because our job freaking paid for everything. But like the pallet that my work uses as like a patio is so stupid. It's rotting. It's like they have now told me, "Hey, when you get the chance, destroy it since you got your foot, freaking stabbed or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't even know how the screw was even facing upward because
Yeah.
all the other ones are facing downward. So when I felt it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And then this like huge piece of wood is just hanging from my shoe.
Yeah.
I take a photo
Did
to
you do
my
the hopping on one leg thing where you're like, ah?
well, like for a little bit, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And so like I text a photo to my my direct boss.
Yeah.
And she's pretty cool. We joke around all the time. We send each other shit on TikTok all the time. I send one to like my podcast friends and then I send one to Abby. And I'm like, well, does it like, is this supposed to be a Monday or what? And my boss calls me and was like, hey, when was your last tetanus shot? I was like, 2014, maybe 2015. And she's like, okay, I'll get back to you. And then like 15 minutes later, she calls and like is almost like hyperventilating. She's like, you need to go get a tetanus shot right now. And I was like, okay. And I was kind of pissed because I was actually having a really productive morning. I was getting shit done
Yeah.
faster than I usually do throughout the week. And nobody in their freaking it's the clinics are all freaking booked because the third booster has been approved. And CVS only does stuff by appointment, and the earliest appointment was like freaking 3:00. So like I had to get permission from HR. Hey, if I promise to get the shot, can I go to work and then go get the shot later? They're like, yeah, I guess you can do that. Just remember to I'll send you the workers' comp information and then send us the actual info on like whatever receipt or whatever, and you'll get reimbursed.
They were
as
going to
well.
give you workers' comp immediately?
Yeah.
Damn. Our old job would have had an investigation. They would
Oh
have had
yeah, no,
all
like
this
like on
bullshit.
my phone, like I still haven't even freaking filled out the questionnaire. Like I still need to fill everything out. But like
Yeah.
they're already like, oh, like here you go. I'm like, fuck
That's
yeah.
nice.
Like how
That's cool.
much am I gonna get, Shit.
Fuck. Well, that's better than nothing. But yeah, so he's had a morning. I've putting out content today. I felt kind of a little weird today. I don't know why. I was like, so Clay can't really see it, but I'm gonna have a video out later this week of
I
this.
am so jealous, dude. When
Dude,
you
it's
sent me that
massive.
photo, when
Like,
you like, I love the fact that you sent me the photo and then you sent me the best GIF in the world because I could literally hear that GIF in my head. It's finally here.
yeah. So it was funny after last week's. This was like, I want to say within 30 minutes of recording last week's podcast because we
Yeah.
recorded on a Saturday because I just had to keep delaying the podcast. So we record this podcast, and man, I hear something going on outside, and like my family's not here because they're on vacation. And I went outside. I'm like, what the fuck? And I just see this guy delivering these massive boxes, and I was like, oh shit, did my family like fucking order a dishwasher or something? I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I look, and it has like Prime One Studio on the side, and I was like, oh, I was like, these are mine. And fucking the guy, I was like, do I need a sign for you? He's like, nope, you're good. And I was like, all right. So I fucking bring these in. And then it is the Batman Hush statue from Prime One Studio. And I bought this thing. I put in to buy this thing before I quit my old job. So that was back in November. And I'm
I just
now
remember
getting
the
this.
conversations we had.
Yeah.
Dude, do you think Like, should we do it? Nah, I'm not gonna do it. I might do it. Nah, it's like a lot of money, and if we leave, we're not gonna have money to like spend on it. I'm gonna do it. Fuck, Clay, I did it. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh shit, it actually went through.
Yeah. Yeah, because what I told myself was like, I'll put in a bid for because the one I bought was the limited edition. Like, there's only like
Oh, that's right.
nine
That was the
hundred
big
ninety nine
thing.
of them.
That was the big thing is
Yeah.
like you were like, "Oh, there's no way that I'll actually get in."
Yeah, because it was a wait list. It was already waitlisted. And I was just like thinking about it because COVID was already a thing. And the wait list, like I had been on the wait list for a while, I think, at that point. And then I think that's what happened. I think that's the exact thing. I was on the wait list forever. And right before I was going to quit that job, I got onto the wait list. Like, I was like, well, I got to put out a payment. Oh, fuck it. I did it. And I was like, oh, shit. So yeah, anyways, I'll have a video out. I'll probably be posting that video on this channel since this is more a Batman thing nowadays. So you guys can definitely, if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel of Batman News Weekly, see that video in the future. It's taking a little while to edit because I'm editing a bunch of other things, but it is fuck, man. Talk about a motivation thing. When I see that statue when I walk in, I'm just like, I should be working out more because like this Batman's fucking ripped, and so I'll like do my weights in front of it. I'm like, yeah, but it's supposed to be a motivation piece, and it's already doing that. So that was pretty crazy, but moving on to the Batman entertainment news we got going on. It seems like something that I feel like didn't get a lot of talk, but the Batman sequel has been greenlit. So
Which like is and is not a surprise. For one,
yeah,
like the movie isn't officially out yet, but on another hand, we've been getting every fucking spinoff from this movie, you
yeah,
know, and I feel like it's something that we should have seen coming.
yeah.
A
I mean,
friend
I
of
don't think
mine,
anybody thought that we wouldn't get a second one. You know
well,
what I
and
mean?
and that's the thing. Well, my friend was like, "Oh, as soon as I saw the first trailer, I was so excited for the sequel." And I'm like, "What?" He's like,
What?
oh, he was like,
I can't
"Oh,"
wait for the trilogy after that first trailer. What?
and I
That's
was like,
just random as shit.
I know, and I was like, you got like, I'm sorry, I understand that there are good movies out there,
Yeah,
but again, not every movie needs a sequel, needs a trilogy, a la what we think of the Joker. So, like,
yeah,
for me, I have to wait and see. Like, yes, do I think this Batman movie is going to be good? Yes. Do I think that it should get a sequel? I don't know until I watch it. Now, of course, there is going to be a sequel out there, so now I can expect one, of
yeah,
course. But as far as my enthusiasm towards that sequel is all going to depend on what I see, not
yeah.
necessarily what the hype is around it, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I am under the expectation nowadays that you don't make a Batman movie unless it's going to be a trilogy. Like that's just kind of how it is for me. Like I grew up
That's true.
watching the other ones and there was 4 of those, not by the same director, but there was 4 of them. And then we got the Nolan stuff after a long break that was automatically a trilogy over time. Although Nolan was like, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to do all 3." And I was like, "Fuck out of here, dude." And then, now Reeves, like before Reeves even signed on, they were saying it was going to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
So like I'm always under that impression. I mean, had Zack Snyder had his way, he would have he would have done his own Batman movie. So like we would have probably got a
Yeah.
trilogy out of that. You know what I mean? And so it is what it is. But yeah, that has been greenlit. Some people were saying that counted as the second spin-off part of the news that we heard a while back that there was going to be another spin-off. I was like, that doesn't technically a spin-off.
The
Yeah.
sequel isn't a spinoff.
Yeah. So I was like, that's pretty stupid. So there's that news. Then we got so you just told me about this, something about James Gunn, that he
Yeah.
deleted a tweet or something.
So James Gunn, I think it was like, shoot, what's today? Today is technically Thursday. I would say sometime last weekend, actually.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, Gunn, we have known this for quite some time. Gunn is somebody who is very, very interactive with his fan base over at Instagram, on Twitter, everything else. He does Q&As, all sorts of stuff. I don't know where the answer came from,
Hmm.
but he was answering somebody's question, and he did confirm that he is working on another DC project that is not Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
Mhm.
So it is a third DC project. And I tried to look for the tweet everywhere. There
Yeah.
is screenshots, but he has since deleted the tweet.
Okay. Yeah, so we had this discussion on the podcast before what we think it would be. We think it's something random ass like Metal Men. Like cuz
Yeah,
he loves those obscure whatever fucking titles.
yeah. Metal Men, Challengers of the Unknown, like I think it's something way out there.
Yeah.
Uh there are a lot of people that are on the fence with the idea of him possibly doing a Gotham City Sirens.
Is that because David Ayer was supposed to do it or what?
I think so. I think
Mhm.
that it's the assumption like, oh, he worked on Suicide Squad. So he either needs to make a Suicide Squad sequel or
Yeah.
do a Gotham City Sirens. Which I I made the argument of, Kathy Yan doing Gotham City Sirens for the fact that
Mhm.
like, she, didn't really necessarily get her chance to do the film that she wanted to do
Yeah.
in the Harley Quinn movie. But like even if she doesn't get it, I do think that maybe it would be smarter to have a female director to
Mhm.
do that movie. But I don't know. Like
Eh, I don't
how do
know
you
because
feel about it?
so here's the thing, right? The female director thing, I think it sometimes is teetering that line that we complain about a lot of the pandering, right? Just because it stars females doesn't mean it needs to be directed by a female. You know what I mean? But that also goes, I think, for men. Like just
Yes.
because something's directed by or stars men doesn't mean it shouldn't be a female director. You know what I mean? Like I've always fought for maybe Jenkins doing a Justice League. I'd be down with that. I think
I'd be
she would do a
down.
great job. Although some people are saying James Gunn might be doing Justice League. So we don't know. But the reason why I would love James Gunn to do Gotham City Sirens is because he pays so much respect to costumes. And
Yeah.
I want those women to have comic book accurate costumes. And especially because I just have a feeling somebody is going to shit all over Poison Ivy. And I do not want somebody to shit on Poison Ivy. Because the only Ivy we've gotten in live action is fucking Uma Thurman. And I'm not going to lie, that's classic. And I like it even for the campiness.
I mean,
But
technically, no. I mean, movies, yes, but
yeah.
we gotten Poison Ivy in your favorite show.
Well, yeah. The second one was hot. The other two are okay. Well, the Golden Glider chick that played her,
Yeah,
let's not talk about Gotham. Fuck that. But I have too much to say about that show. Anyways, yes, we have gotten Poison Ivy there, but she wasn't done well. That's what I can
yes,
say.
yes, yes,
So, and then, like I said, Uma Thurman was in a very campy movie, and I was totally okay with that for what it was. But I want Ivy done well, and I think James Gunn could handle that. And I also think, and the reason why I'm not so hung up on like it needs to be a female director is because I think if you give Margot Robbie like a high executive producer role and she has some say so in the movie, but James Gunn is like king on that, I think it's fine. Like if she's like, no, this is too objectifying, we're not going to do it, and he's like, totally cool, like we
yeah,
won't do it. I think that's totally fine. But yeah, I don't know, man. I do want more women in the industry. I do want all that kind of shit, but I just don't think it's necessary when it comes to these superhero movies because and I mentioned this when we talked about fucking Birds of Prey, but like Kathy Yan's movie wasn't great. Like
yeah,
not the first time we saw it, and I don't know. I think you just get good people to do the job, but if you're just picking men because you think men only do a good job, that's bullshit. Like
yeah,
we're seeing that Jenkins did a fucking great job. The one thing I will say is it does seem like they love their female writers though,
yeah,
because we're getting a lot of females to write these movies.
yeah.
So,
Same with Marvel recently. Marvel has been. I've noticed a lot of the Disney Plus is
mhm.
majority female writers.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah, so maybe it's going to take a little bit more time for them to get into the director's chair. And don't forget that we have Amazon fucking Zatanna is still open for a director, which the woman who is writing it is a director. So
yeah.
she could easily swoop that up. And I think that's great. Because if I'm not mistaken, Kathy Yan didn't write her movie. It was by what's her
No,
face,
no.
right?
It was by Hudson,
So
Christina Hudson.
yeah, so I prefer the writer director combo when it comes to stuff like that. So we'll see, man. But I'm not big on that anymore. Like I was, but at this point, I'm just like, give me somebody who's gonna do a fucking good job. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like I don't want to take a chance on somebody new. Although we kind of talk about that every once in a while in the comic world. We're like, dude, give them some new writers. But that's not $1 billion project or $1 million project. You know what I
that
mean?
is true. Yeah,
And because I think every time you make a bad superhero movie, it just hurts in the long run. So I'm just like, give us some people that are fucking gonna produce something badass, and we'll see. I mean, who knows? We might get a shitload of new female directors with this with fandom, coming out with any announcements. We don't know yet. So,
that is true.
but speaking of fandom,
Yeah.
we got a little trailer. It was just one of those fancy trailers with like
Well, we
all the
now have
people.
two. Yeah, well, we have two trailers because one dropped today as well.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
was that the one with, like, Zoe and
yeah, it
Robert
had Zoe.
Pattinson just seemed, like, so unenthusiastic in that.
A friend of mine was like, "Yeah, Robert, you shouldn't sound like you're reading something."
Yeah, yeah. Aren't you an actor? Like, come on, Robert. Come on, Robert.
Oh
Zoe
man.
seemed like she was excited, but Robert was just like, I was like, I
Yeah,
mean, he
yeah.
does sound kinda like Bruce Wayne would do that too, but I guess.
But I
Um
did wanted to highlight some names that are actually being featured in
Okay.
fandom here. All Batman related, of course. This is a Batman podcast. Matt Reeves, of course, is going to be there. We all know this. You know, he's probably going to have the same kind of scenario that he did with
He'll probably
the
close the
the
show.
yeah, close the show. And even the trailer today, like it ended with and be the first to exclusively watch the second Batman trailer. Like, they're probably going to end the show on that again.
Mhm.
So Matt Reeves is going to be there. But speaking of Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams and Bruce Timm are going to be there. Of course, they are
Oh,
all being the producers of the animated Batman series that is coming out. But there's still a lot of people that may assume that Abrams may be announcing something that he is finally going to be doing within the DCEU.
yeah.
So, whether that be something connected to the DCU or not, he still has ties to everything of HBO Max right now with the Justice League Dark and the Superman show. But we'll see what happens. So there's those three. One that I didn't notice until the third time watching this thing because it went pretty fast. I had to like
Yeah.
pause and look at everything. I'm actually looking at somebody who actually screenshotted everybody's name. Of course, we just talked about James Gunn a little bit. He'll be talking about Peacemaker, but Todd McFarlane is going to be there, which made me think. I think Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to be a fandom exclusive Todd McFarlane toy
Hmm,
this year.
maybe.
I think he's going to announce something as far as like a new line for sure.
Yeah.
But, just like San Diego Comic Con has exclusives for pops and everything else, like
Mhm.
you have like your number one guy that is now dealing with everything when it comes to DC toy products and
Yeah.
statues. He's going to announce something for sure.
Yeah. I just want to shout out Todd McFarlane said he liked the Batman News Weekly logo. So just gonna throw that out there. But yeah, it's gotta be toy related. And I have to say, this is the thing that sucks. I wish McFarlane would get into the statue game. Like, I'm not a big fan of opposable toys anymore. I loved them when I was a child, but now I'm just like, I want something that just sits there and looks cool.
I think that he could actually do a really good job because what was it last year? He put
Mhm.
out his Spawn statue and it
Yeah.
made $1 million in less than 3 days.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I got my hands on that Target exclusive that the only reason I bought it because it is opposable, like you can move it, but it comes with a hard cape. Like
oh,
literally.
the
The
Batman.
yeah, year two Batman, the graveyard scene. One, I was like, that would look great on a desk. And then two, like the cape is hard to make it look like it's blowing in the wind.
Yeah,
And I was like, all right, that it looks like a statue, so I'll buy it just for that. I'll never have it in any other form or looking any other way. I'm just gonna have it like that. And I might keep it in the box for a while, just to keep it in the box for a while. Who knows? But
nice.
because yeah, I'm kind of running out of space with this behemoth back here now. So I don't really need another Batman statue hanging out somewhere. But for the most part, it does look pretty awesome. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if McFarlane says anything. The one thing I did notice is no Tom King in there.
No
Uh
Tom King. Ridley is gonna be here. I did see Ridley up as far as like comic book writers, and surprisingly, Scott Snyder's going to be here at Fandom.
Yeah, I saw
But
that.
I think it's only because, and
The game.
he's given them a lot of praise. It's
Hmm.
because of Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
He has said that they have done an excellent job with adapting the his story to Gotham Knights, and I do think that Gotham Knights will have a release date on Fandom. Like the day of Fandom, they will have an actual release date for the game.
Yeah, I'm calling the release date's going to be in May, and then it's going to get pushed back to September. That's what I'm calling.
You think it's gonna get pushed back again?
Yeah. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Dude,
I
games never come out when they make release dates nowadays.
see. I don't see. I'm not as bold as to say that it'll come out spring 2022.
Hmm.
I almost want to say that it'll go December of this year.
You think
In
it's
2
going to come
months.
out that soon?
I think so.
No.
And
No way.
the only reason why, to be completely honest, I have not been this in tune with like
But
video
they already
game
pushed it
releases.
back to 2022, though. You think it's going to come out before schedule?
Did they release it to 2022?
They
Did they
pushed
for
it
sure
back. They
say
pushed both of
2022?
them back. Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I haven't been too in tone with game
Yeah.
releases
I was going
then,
to say, they pushed
because
them both back.
the reason why I don't say it'll be in 2022 of spring
Hmm.
is you have a lot of heavy hitters in spring of 2022. You have uh Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West.
You have
You
everything
have
that got delayed this year.
yeah, you basically
Yeah.
all of the big AAA games that were supposed to be like freaking gangbusters for 2021 have been pushed to spring of 2022.
Yeah.
And Gotham Knights will not last. Like as much as I love Batman, as much as I love the plans for what Gotham Knights could be, I think you have to push it to either early 2022, like January,
Hmm.
or do it right before summer.
I have a feeling some of these game companies are waiting for everybody to be able to buy a fucking PS5 because you still cannot find a PS5 in stores, and we're approaching a year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are like, yo, we're gonna push back because we want as many people to buy this fucking game as possible. So, and it's funny because a lot of people are probably like, I'm just gonna switch to PC and play it. I'm like, yeah, try getting a good graphics card. You know?
These days, holy
So
shit. Yeah.
but yeah, so I'm excited to see the gaming stuff. If you did see the trailer from today, it did have some gaming content in it. I
Yes.
think it had like the Bat family running up like an exploding bridge or something like that, and then the
Hmm.
Suicide Squad like shooting up some stuff. So yeah, it's gonna look pretty interesting. I'm excited to see all the other trailers and what we're gonna get. Um, but yeah, man, like I'm excited. You want to know what? Well, I mean, I'll make this joke now, but I'm hoping we get an announcement of the cancellation of Titans. Like that would be awesome. But but let's talk about another series that's going to be coming out on YouTube.
Oh
This
yeah.
is called. So we've been talking about this on and off. We don't read it and we don't cover it on the podcast, which maybe we should. But we've talked about how Webtoons partnered with DC, and one of their first books is called Wayne Family Adventures. I believe that's what it's called, right?
Yes.
And this is surprisingly getting a mini series on YouTube. And I was like, so you sent me a TikTok of it today. I had already knew this information and I was going to bring it up on the podcast today, but I was shocked to see the actual casting for this because I thought because the one thing I saw first was the YouTube channel that's going to be making it is Ismahawk, and they have done a lot of like superhero battles and they've done other stuff. It's funny because these were I've told this story before on the podcast. This was the people that I thought the guy I met at Comic-Con, and he got really pissed when I mentioned this name.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ismahawk was not the guy. But I was like, "Oh, you're Ismahawk." And the guy was like, "No." It was another battle,
I know exactly
superhero
which. Yeah,
battle
yeah, yeah. I knew exactly
YouTube
which one.
channel. I'll just say that. And so, anyways, it's cool to see that Ismahawk is getting. This is pretty big for a
Yeah, it
YouTube
is.
channel.
Yeah, it is.
So it looks like that team is going to be directing this because he usually plays Nightwing, and there is another female cosplayer that usually plays Barbara. But they got fucking the chick from all that to be fucking Barbara,
Yeah.
and we're going with an Asian Dick Grayson. It looks like, right?
Yeah, and I'm actually super excited about some of these cast members because they are canonically former Power Rangers that are
Mm,
playing some of these characters. So
interesting.
Nightwing is the Blue Ranger from, I believe, Dino Charge of Power Rangers, and the person playing Red Hood and the person playing Stephanie
Mhm.
are from a uh, Power Rangers series called Hyperforce. And the really cool thing about that is Hyperforce was literally a D&D Power Rangers scenario game that they played on Twitch.
Oh wow.
But Boom Studios, the comic book that was creating Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, had a big event where like all the Power Rangers from every series were coming together to fight one villain. They made them like debut in the comic. So
Mm,
their characters, they were playing like role playing on Twitch, actually got to be drawn out into the comic
that's pretty cool.
and had several issues where they were like prominent characters. So uh I thought that was really cool that that they actually are going to be a part of this project. I'm definitely going to be watching this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be surprised as of like how long are these productions gonna be? Do you think it's gonna be like a like 2 to 5 minute type thing, or
I mean,
how
with
do you think it's
DC
gonna go?
behind it, I'm shooting 10 to 20 minutes. And I don't know how many episodes it's gonna be. I don't think you get a cast like this together and not do multiple. It's a
Yeah,
miniseries.
yeah,
I don't think it said how many episodes it's gonna be, but if you go check out Ismahawk's channel, those boss fights they used to do, because they would do cutscenes too. Like it would have Dick Grayson like working out in his like penthouse or whatever, and he'd be
yeah,
talking to Barbara. And he goes and he fights like Deathstroke, and like
yeah.
that's one of the big fights they have. And those videos, I want to say, are like 8 to 15 minutes.
Hmm.
So, I mean, if you're hiring like real actors now, like you can actually have dialogue and scenes and shit like that. And then I'm pretty sure they're gonna really want to focus on the fighting. Yeah, man, just seeing the trailer from like what you showed, already more exciting than Titans. So, like, bam. I'm excited for this miniseries.
And it looks like
Excited.
I'm like we're gonna be shitting a lot on Titans. Um,
If you
Wayne
can't tell. If
Wayne
you
Family
can't tell.
Adventures looks like it's gonna have a more comic book accurate Nightwing anyway. So
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just get into fucking Titans. Like, god damn it. So I watched this about 2 or 3 hours ago. I think it almost put me to sleep. I think that's why I took a nap. Um, but I said when I was covering Gotham, and I think I've said this about Titans as well. But when I used to cover Gotham, I would always say that Gotham did not know what fucking tone it wanted. Like, are you going to be a super dark show, or are you going to be like campy? Like, what are you going to fucking be? And they never really picked up on that. And some people were like, well, it goes between the characters. And like, yes, characters can be a certain way, but the show should always stay, like, should have a certain tone. And you just have that one character that is acting weird or whatever. But it's kind of, again, how Marvel does it, where everybody's funny. That doesn't work. Um, Titans doesn't know what fucking tone it wants, because, and that is so evident from the way this fucking episode opened up with this fucking upbeat montage of Scarecrow shaving his beard and fucking going through the Batcave. And Clay, what did I fucking tell you
I
about the
fucking hate it.
mask?
I fucking hate it. No, and like again, people may get mad at us for having a preconceived notion of how we're going to depict this show before we even watch an episode, but it's the show itself that has made that happen,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, as soon as I see him in the Batcave, because you first see him like throwing all these fucking briefcases all over the fucking floor, and he like opens one and like something is like super shiny all in his face or whatever. And I'm like, even if he fucking like at that point, I was like, I don't even fucking care if he gets the mask. He's gonna
Yeah.
look stupid anyway. Like, it's still gonna be that same ass actor. He's gonna have the same shitty ass dialogue. He's gonna have the same mannerisms. I don't even fucking care if he grabs the mask because he's still gonna be stupid. And then he looks at the fucking mask and then he closes the fucking thing. And I'm
I
like,
told you.
fuck you.
I
Like, I was
fucking
just like,
told you.
fuck you.
And it
And
plays out even more when we get to the end of the
I
episode.
hated that whole they are trying to they saw, do you know what happened? HBO Max saw the success of Joker and they're like, "Oh, I think we could do that with Scarecrow
Yeah,
in
no.
in this series. And we can make it like I'm sure we can finally we could probably do a spin-off show of Scarecrow probably. Like that's what they are probably thinking.
Yeah. It's bad.
This guy sucks balls. I'm sorry. He's like he just I hate this actor. Like I don't even want to watch. Like there was a time that I actually wanted to watch freaking what was that show on AMC that he's from?
Is he a part of something?
Yeah, no, he's a part of the fucking news thing with
Fucking Mad Men.
Mad Men. Yeah, he's a part of Mad Men.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
And like Abby watched, like we watched the first episode together, and she's like, "Oh, well, you work all the time, so I'm just gonna watch
Watch
it
it.
whenever." And so she watched like 3 seasons in like freaking 4 days or something. It was insane.
Fuck.
And I was like, you know what? That'll be your show. It's fine.
Yeah.
And she was not happy with the ending, but
Oof.
whatever. And for me, I was like, after seeing this guy in this show, I was like, no, never watched Mad Men.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's because it's Scarecrow. Like, I've never heard of this guy before, and I'm like, maybe he's good in something else, but
What
it's just
the
you just
fuck
can't be
is up
Scarecrow.
with Bruce Wayne having swords and guns in the Batcave?
So I will say the swords. You're really concerned about the swords? Like he's a
Like,
master swordsman.
yeah, but it was just weird. Like, I don't know. I guess I was just really pissed off at like Scarecrow, so then
Yeah.
I was fucking just looking at everything. I was like, that's
Yeah, I
fucking
get it.
stupid. Blah, blah. So
Well,
I can understand the swords because again, like there's canonically like reasoning behind
they train
him
with them
being
too. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah.
The guns also too. I think those are usually like Batman. You know, he modifies guns to like shoot his gas canisters or whatever. Now I understand that they look like hardcore AFR, like a fucking whatever.
It looked like an
ARs. There you
armor.
go.
So I was just like,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think it's just kind of, he's used it's kind of like Zack Snyder, right? All of the things he did in Batman v Superman were to fucking shoot the kryptonite or to do whatever.
Yeah.
I am chalking that as much as I would love to shit on this show as much as is possible. I've seen Batman modify things in comics or whatever. He doesn't use them he doesn't use those things to kill, right? Like that's just his thing. He still uses sharp weapons, batarangs, and that's a knife. You know what I mean? Still can be very deadly, but the way he uses things is not to kill. So I don't have a big issue with that. But you want to know something stupid, and I will call myself out when I do and when I am super nitpicky, but this is a production thing. When fucking Crane opened the hard case to see whatever the fuck was inside, it was so fucking flimsy. And I was all like, have you never opened one of those hard cases? They're literally they're so strong that you can run them over. I have one at my feet for my microphones. They are fucking sturdy as fuck. And this thing
it's
was like
top
fucking
heavy,
cardboard.
right?
Yeah. Like
So like
it
when
is
he
heavy.
opens it, it would have been like
It would have like been stiff as hell.
Yeah.
And I was just like, bro, like, what are y'all doing over there? Because that production company could have easily taken the camera boxes that they use for their cameras and used those.
Yeah.
And they're using some flimsy ass one over here. That's just a stupid nitpick, and I'm calling myself out on that. But I was just like, come on. Production team can't even do this well. Anyways, Um, that was just the first fucking 2 or 3 minutes of this episode. And then Scarecrow's over there having a great time, and then he's like, computer, which blows. I'm assuming Jason, I'm just headcanoning this. Jason had to have gotten Scarecrow voice
Access.
activation, yeah,
Yeah.
because he shouldn't be able to do that, but it is what it is. That's what I'm just gonna say. And then he starts listening to Batman's like assessment of him. And
Yeah.
we know that it's not done very well in the show, but we know he's obsessed what people think of him. Like it's not done very well, but that's what happens. And fucking he's over here doing like listening to this shit, and Batman's all like, what I know of everything is Scarecrow is the villain, and Jonathan Crane is like a coward, and so that pisses off Crane, right? And the moment I heard that, I was like, "Oh, my theory of like he doesn't need the mask anymore," right there. And I was
Yep.
like, I knew this was gonna be a fucking thing because I was hoping he saw the mask, right? And so throughout the whole episode, I was like, please just say he needs the mask and he puts it on at the end of the episode. It might redeem some shit. No. We'll get to that. But like he's just like, oh, I can't do this. Then he runs over. By the way, he looks stupider without a
In
beard.
this, okay, he looks stupid without the beard, but then he's wearing Bruce Wayne's clothing
Yeah, he
that
looks
is
like a
like
child.
17 times larger than he is.
Yeah,
Like it looks so stupid, and I don't understand who is in charge of directing or freaking costume design. Like nothing. Like there are things that look good in this show,
yeah,
and then there's some things that just make this show CW fucking quality.
yeah. The suit would have made sense if it was like Ben Affleck who played Batman. But we've seen Batman in this show, and he's not built at all.
No.
So him and Scarecrow have a very similar body type. So yeah, I didn't understand why it was so like 2 or 3 sizes bigger than he was. Like it didn't make that much sense. Um, so yeah, that was kind of dumb. Then he runs into Jason, who looks like he's trying to just have a nap, and he's all like, "Get up, Jason! You know what's wrong with you is nobody cares." Blah, blah,
You're
blah, blah.
afraid, like
Yeah,
basically projecting everything that Bruce had just said onto Jason.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm
Just
just
like a
like,
bad parent does to their kid.
this is really fucking on the nose, and it's stupid. Like I hated it.
Yeah. So there's that bullshit. And then I think what did that jump to Nightwing and fucking,
Superboy,
Superboy
yeah, with the
having the
video
most
of
generic fucking conversation of like, I should be out there to help you, man. I'm stronger than you and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, why do I feel like I've heard this conversation a billion times? And
and
then,
of course you have the stereotypical like Superboy, of course, in love with Blackfire.
yeah,
She got shot. We need to go save her. We need to go find them. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, we get it. Like,
yeah,
and it's very unfortunate that for some reason, th- it's so frustrating because and even today, it wasn't today. Sorry, yesterday, this happened. I think it was HBO Max was like, oh, like I forgot exactly the exact wording of the tweet, but they said something about a better new Batman. And then
hmm
Titans tweeted out a GIF of this Nightwing. And I'm
all right,
like, guys, please don't fucking be setting up for him to be Batman because he's already getting the tropes of Batman. This whole
hmm
like, oh, well, you guys can't help me because I have to do it alone. That's
yeah,
very much a Batman thing.
yeah.
And it's just
I mean,
like,
if they make him Batman, it would be understandable. But like again, we've talked about this. This won't be a Titans show anymore.
no, no, not at all.
So anyway, so there's that weird spat, and then like okay, I called this out last week. So just to show that we are an honest podcast and we don't just shit on shows to shit on shows, they really put it out there in this episode that like, oh, phone lines are down, internet's down. I was like, okay, so Donna couldn't call. I made that joke last week. I was like, why the
Yeah,
fuck didn't she just call? So she still could have fucking ran from Themyscira to there. It doesn't make sense.
yeah.
But she couldn't call because the internet and everything's down. So I just want to point that out. They did say that everything's down, so she couldn't call. And that also kind of gave the reason for her fucking arc, I guess. I mean, she has super speed. She could have ran through all of Gotham. I feel like she could have found them. But anyways, so yeah, it's everybody's kind of split up. We don't see Starfire at all in this episode,
No, we
but
do see her in this
no,
episode.
Blackfire, I meant.
Yeah.
But we see Starfire going around and she comes across a woman and a baby. And she was like, I saw your baby in a vision and I need to talk to you. And I'm like, when? I was like, I
That's
remember seeing the
that's
store.
no. So when you were like, "Oh, you remember the George Lopez baby head?" That's the baby. And the
Oh,
baby,
that wasn't
yes,
Starfire?
that wasn't Starfire. But they played it to be like it was.
Damn.
And the woman that was in the
Wait,
like
but that baby was in a
stands,
bassinet.
yes. So here is the we're gonna fast forward through Starfire's story right now
Oh
because
my
this is
god.
how stupid this is. Okay, so her vision, what
That baby had a big old head.
3 or 4 episodes ago, had her see this baby on
Yeah.
the stage, and then the mother was in the seats or was in the audience, and
Mhm.
she's like, "My baby." Coincidentally, she sees them in this store that she, ended up being in front of when she finally woke up on that episode.
Yeah.
Now she's there in this episode. She goes in, she sees this woman, her baby. They're struggling to pay for
Medicine.
medicine or whatever. The next thing you know, they're in the alley. She actually, I guess, stole and or convinced uh the
Store
store to
clerk.
get the clerk to get that medicine for her. And this woman apparently owes money to this dude. Random dude.
Yeah.
No name given, whatever. He then, of course, Starfire being the hero, quote unquote, that she is, she gets in front of him. Hey, nobody has to die today. We'll get you what you need, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to shoot somebody today. And he like
Well, yeah, to
shoots.
get my money. And I'm
Yeah.
like, the woman that just said she could get you the money, you're
And you're
gonna
will.
shoot.
Yeah.
Eh,
And so,
But he did say he drank the water, so just gonna throw that out there.
yes. But you're telling me that she had a vision of this woman, of this baby, of this store, only because the writing needed it to happen in order for her to get shot, to get traumatized, to have a flashback of her childhood, of the day she was born,
Yeah.
to find out that she never had the powers that she has had all this time.
Yeah.
That they were actually Blackfire's powers that were transferred to her.
Yeah.
And then now she's like, oh, well, the powers that Blackfire stole from me were never actually mine. They were actually hers. So, like, now I have new powers. And
Yeah,
I'm
and they're
like,
blue.
and I'm sorry. If this woman was important, if she had some sort of history with Blackfire, if she was actually like Tamaranian or something, I could
Yeah.
understand the visions. But you're telling me the only reason why she was having visions was for the fact that she needed to get shot in order to have that like realization?
Yeah.
It's stupid. It doesn't
Yeah.
make no damn sense.
It was so convoluted. And I was like, that's what you've been like put and why did I mean, yeah,
This
dude.
this is some fucking freaking what happened last time with the freaking Batman comic? Ghostmaker freaking, oh, I knew Scarecrow before he was even Scarecrow.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that's what this shit is.
It was just so convoluted. And like I said, I haven't given a fuck about the Starfire storyline. And is she gonna have blue fire now? Like, because she's always had orange fire. But
Yeah.
like, is this even comic book accurate? Or is this for the show?
I think it's for the show. That's never
Yeah.
happened before.
So like that was just weird and dumb. And like, yeah, like, oh yeah, my powers got healed. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck the Starfire storyline. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and what is Blackfire going to be the main villain next year? Because that's going to be garbage.
Yeah.
Or is this going to bring them closer together? Like, I'm so sorry, I stole your powers. Like, I understand why you're so bitter. Like,
They were never mine to begin with, so I'm
yeah.
so glad that you have what's rightfully yours.
And if they do that, her whole demeanor during that whole when she got her powers back would make no
No
sense.
sense. Yeah.
So yeah, fuck the Starfire storyline. Now let's jump over to the fucking Tim Drake just so happening to see Diana. Now, was she able to find him?
So I
Like,
think so he was just outside, of course, because he let himself out of the
yeah,
hospital.
which we don't
And
see.
then just by happenstance, of course, he looks the other way, and freaking Donna is on top of this freaking parking lot. And
Yeah,
he's like, hold on, what was that? And he goes all the way up to the top of the parking lot, and she's there. And he's
yeah,
like, oh hey, what's up? Like, so glad to see you. You're
yeah,
alive. What's up, man? It's just like I understand happy coincidences, right?
yeah.
But there is no reason for it.
Not at
And
all.
again, of course, you need certain things to happen in order for the show to progress.
Hmm.
But the show and story would progress better, in my opinion, if you use the powers that you've already given Donna to find her team.
Yeah. Well, what would have made even more sense was Donna met him in the other world. She knew he was from Gotham, and she knew he had been shot, if I'm not mistaken, or she knew something was going on with him. She could have just checked hospitals,
Yeah.
and I don't even know if he said his name in the other world. If he did, then she would know to
I think she knew his name was
yeah.
Tim.
Then okay, so then she could look for Tim's in the database or whatever. What the one thing that bothers me and doesn't make sense is why didn't she go to the Batcave? Because she would have found Crane and Red Hood, beat both of their asses, and this would have been over. Like, why don't you go to the Batcave? Like, why isn't that the first place you fucking go?
And you can't tell me that they don't know about the Batcave because you showed it in season 1.
Yeah, where they're children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that doesn't make sense. But yeah, so she can't find her team. I can understand not finding her team in the big city, but not going to the Batcave kind of throws me off. And then yeah, she should have found Tim in the hospital. That would have made sense of him getting out of there. Because she's like, we need to find my team. Like, can you get up? And he's like, yeah, let's go, let's go. All right, I can help you because I got this fucking crazy own Batcave of my own
Yeah.
that my parents think we only store fucking rice in. Oh my god, I fucking hated that, dude. Like,
I
so fast
I
forwarding.
understand. I just want to say this because I know it sounds like we're very wishy-washy on this. We both love the fact that Tim is basically the character that he is in the comics.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a little bit more of a fanboy here, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because he's not completely obsessed with just Batman and Robin. He's obsessed with like everybody superhero related.
Yeah.
But like him making his own Batcave that is a part of his family's store and they had
Yeah.
nothing to like they didn't know anything about
Yeah.
it.
The room is
They're
fucking
stretching
massive.
it. They're
Yeah.
stretching it way too much to be like, come on,
Yeah.
dude.
It is a massive fucking room. Like, there's no way the parents just think, how much rice do they fucking serve? Like, to think. And what, only fucking Drake is the one that handles the rice when gets delivered and shit? Like, oh
I
my,
guess
I got the
so.
rice. Like, it was just dumb. And I get the joke and stuff, but like, it's Gotham. You know how many abandoned buildings are in Gotham? Like, you could have just had him like, oh yeah, this place has been abandoned for years. Like, I have my own whatever here. You know what I mean? Run on generators. So yeah, I don't know how he's the only one that doesn't have power. Like, I don't remember him hitting a generator. He just fucking flips a switch, and
Yeah.
his room has power. I'm just like, all right, my guy. Also, can we talk about how his parents are just okay?
Yeah,
Like
no explanation
yeah,
whatsoever.
the last time we fucking saw them, they were both dying from gunshot wounds, or they were both shot,
Yeah.
and now they just look fucking fine. And I'm just like, okay, whatever.
And also I knew as soon as like shit started to look bad, like I was like, they're gonna fucking do something with his brother. Because like at that random episode when he was introduced, you
Hmm.
see that like his stepbrother is like not a good guy. Like
Yeah.
he like something gang related or whatever. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, he's gonna get involved somehow. And
Yeah.
then lo and behold, he's like, "Oh yeah, we got somebody on the inside of the GCPD." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?"
He hasn't been around. Like, it's so dumb, dude. They introduce these characters for like no reason, like no development, anything like that. And then on top of all of that, like, there's this whole family squabble going on or whatever. And just fast forward to the ending of it, Diana is gonna have to lead a bunch of randos.
Donna, not
Yeah,
Diana.
Donna, my bad. The other Wonder Woman. I don't know, but like fucking Donna is gonna have to fucking lead a bunch of people to fight off the GCPD and like Scarecrow's people or whatever.
I was trained to lead 5 people to fight 50
Yeah.
and 50 people to
Yeah.
fight 500.
I
And
mean,
I'm like,
it's a Spartan reference. I get it.
it's yes, it's like Amazon's okay. We know you're a badass, but
Yeah.
like those other 5 people were trained.
Yeah.
Those other 50 people were trained.
Yeah,
Like,
and they're also Amazons, and they're fucking badasses. You know what I mean? They're not jabronis on the street. Like, come on. But
yeah.
I get it. It's supposed to build her up. It's supposed to be character development for her. But I think it would be better if she fucking found her team and became the leader of the Titans because it seems like fucking Nightwing is failing pretty hard.
Yeah,
So,
speaking of Nightwing,
yeah.
the whole story with him is he is trying to, like, he notices that like Red Hood and everybody is in the Batcave.
Yeah.
Like they do a broadcast and they're calling out Nightwing, and he's like, "Oh, I have to do this myself." And so he goes to Wayne Tech. He goes to the actual building and he is trying to like hack into the system via Wayne Tower.
Mhm.
And then Red Hood is there. He's like, "Pff, come on, Dick. You didn't think I didn't know that what you were trying to do?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck ever? Just move on with this conversation. And then Dick like finds this random safe,
Yeah. He
opens
probably
it,
knew about it.
and you see this green glow. I'm like, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Runs over to Superboy and Crypto, puts fucking kryptonite pixie dust on them, gets them immobilized for however long he needs to because he's wanting to confront Red Hood. He wants
Yeah.
to confront Jason. And so they do that. And before we get into like the huge confrontation between them, we see more storyline between Beast Boy and Raven, which
Yeah.
again, she is so fucking vanilla. She is
Yeah.
just so fucking monotone. It's like, oh, well, like, and again, there's a fucking plot hole in this whole fucking thing because Beast Boy is like, oh, well, I was doing some research and I heard this thing about like the Lazarus pits and blah, blah, blah. She somehow figures out how to read whatever language or whatever, and she's able to sense the Lazarus pit. They go to
Mhm.
the Lazarus pit. This is when the fight between Jason and Dick is like getting really heated. They're going
Yeah.
blow for blow. And all of a sudden, this fucking angry mob shows up to like cheer on Jason. For
Yeah.
like, Red Hood,
While he's
Red
getting his
Hood,
ass
Red
beat.
Hood. And so this guy finally pulls out a gun and starts shooting at Dick Grayson.
Well, can I say something right here? They got the most incelly virgin white boy to be this kid, and he's
Yeah,
shooting at Dick.
he has such like a nasally voice. He's like,
Yeah, and
Red
he's like,
Hood,
"We did
Red
this for
Hood.
you, Red Hood. We did it for you, Red Hood." And I'm like, "Really?" I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, that's a comics gate fucking milkshake kind of, we don't want women in the industry kind of guy that was over here fucking defending Red Hood. And I was just like,
Oh
oh
shit.
my God, it's for you, Red Hood. We got it for you. And I was just like, wow.
So
And yeah,
well, the reason why he's yelling this is because when he is shooting Nightwing, Nightwing is I didn't know that he had like legitimate like bulletproof armor. It's not like freaking just a regular suit. It is armor, and
yeah,
these bullets are like bouncing off of him, and then one gets him in the neck,
yeah,
and he starts to fall, and the whole fucking crowd just starts to like kick him or whatever.
yeah,
And then out of nowhere, Raven's like, Dick, he's in trouble. And like she starts to like manifest this thing, and then that ends, and we're
yeah,
gonna move on to Scarecrow. But before we move on to there, if she could notice, if she could feel other
Mhm.
members of the team, why was she like, "Oh, do you know where any of these people are? Like,
Yeah.
how are we gonna find them?"
Yeah.
Like, you knew where they were the entire time?
So, to play devil's advocate, I think the show has made it to where she feels Dick. That was
Whoa.
whoa. I mean, I don't know what her and Gar are up to, but I think she feels Grayson's energy when he's in trouble because I think he was super depressed in season 1, and that's when she finds him because like he's going through his whole fucking I'm an angsty teenager phase.
Okay, so
So
it's all emotion.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think she can sense where he is forever. And maybe it's the same thing goes for Gar because we know Gar was in a troubled situation. So I think they have to be in a bad state of mind or even physical state to where she's able to sense them. So that's I'm gonna throw that out there. So I was like, okay, that's kind of whatever. But it first of all, Grayson has to die, right? Like he got shot in the neck. That's one of the worst places you can get shot, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think they're gonna say he's gonna die, and then Raven and Beast Boy are gonna throw him in the Lazarus pit.
Yeah, because that's how they brought Jason back.
Well, like,
Uh,
because I was not understanding the whole fucking point of like, "Ooh, we found out how Jason is alive now. The
yeah,
Lazarus pit."
he's
Like
alive. What matters?
like, I know, like, I was not understanding why they were so fixated on the fact that they were like that Beast Boy was doing research on how he was still alive
yeah,
and getting to this Lazarus pit. I was like, "Who fucking cares?"
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I thought he was just trying to help Jason. I don't know how those two really coincide with each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it looks like Grayson's probably going to die. And honestly, I think he should because he got shot in the neck and he had no help. And oh my god, and fucking I will say I love how Red Hood fucking ran away the opposite of being a hero. Because those are the moments when heroes jump into action and that's like when they run towards the fire, you know, and he was
Yeah.
running away from the fire. I'm a bitch,
Well, no,
and
like
like,
it's I hate this again. It's I hate Jason. I hate the actor. I hate the
hmm
depiction of what they've created Red Hood to be in the show. But like you had him like on his fucking knees begging to be a Titan again.
yeah,
I'll give up everything. I'll tell you where Crane is, blah 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 blah. And then here he's like, "Oh, Dick, this you knew this is always how it was gonna end. Like this is how you were gonna die." I'm like, "Bitch,
yeah.
like what the fuck are you even
I,
talking about?"
you know how much I don't care about this show anymore. I was hoping Grayson was gonna pull the trigger because at this point I don't care about the show, and I was like, I don't give a fuck about them being comic book accurate anymore because they've already fucked up too much, and at least it would be different.
Yeah,
Like,
like
yeah, you know.
like we complain about Batman shooting people. We're just like, fucking do it already,
Yeah, I
please.
was like, I hate
Just
Red
kill
Hood
him.
that much. Yeah, I was just like, put a bullet in his brain. Like, who cares? Because to be honest, right? Like, he could have just did what he did to Dawn again, right? Like, maybe he pulls the trigger and it blows up a building in the area. Like,
Yeah,
you know, he's like, got you again, you know? Uh, which would have been probably better, you know? Because then Grayson's like, oh fuck, did I just kill a bunch of people? You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like again, Red Hood is not redeemable. So, like, if in the next two episodes, if they're like, you can come back to the family, man, we know you were part of all this, he's gotten people killed and he almost got Grayson killed. Like, it doesn't make any sense anymore. Like, he's not redeemable. He should die. And
yeah.
it's unfortunate because they're probably going to use the Lazarus pit to bring back Dick Grayson. And then if Jason were to die, unless he explodes, I mean, they'll probably go pick up all the pieces and they'll be like, oh, let's go put him in the Lazarus pit. Um,
I think Dick Grayson will destroy the Lazarus pit.
yeah, I think that's gonna happen too. Because he'll probably know like, oh, Batman would have destroyed this or whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's just so bad. Anyways, let's jump to the ending
Fuck this
because
ending.
so
Fuck this ending.
in the middle of the show, Scarecrow orders pizza, $25 pizza, apparently really expensive in Gotham. Orders $25 pizza, and he's like, "Oh man, let me go get my wallet." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, okay, man." And he turns his back because he has to, obviously, for this to happen. Scarecrow comes back in, fucking hits him with a meat mallet, and then he ties him up in the Batcave. He's like, "Oh, I got to show where I got to show that I can be Scarecrow. I can be just as good as Scarecrow or whatever." Because he needs to be able to induce fear like Scarecrow can. And so he's like, "What do you like worse? Do you like being burned by fire, or do you want to be your face cut and all this shit?" And then he bitches out, and he can't do anything to the kid, and he's like huddling under the table, and he's like, "Oh, mommy was right, and I can't
Did
do
you
it."
say that? Why did
Yeah.
you say that to me?
And so, like, yeah, he's having this weird, like, hallucination of himself telling him that he's a coward and he sucks and he needs Scarecrow, all this shit. And so eventually he comes to the realization, like it cuts away or whatever. And at the end, we see the Pizza Hut kid is all fucking cut open and his guts are out for some reason. And we're like, okay, I killed him. And he was all like, no more masks. And then we saw that. Like the kid was still alive at the point. He's like, no more masks. And he's looking in the mirror of the Batcave. I thought he was looking at the mask. And I was like, why did he say no more mask? And I thought he was looking at the mask. But no, it insinuates he's gonna cut himself, all
Yeah.
Joker style. And I'm like, don't tell me he's gonna make a smiley face on his face. And then that fucking cuts to the end where Jason comes back all bitched out and he got his ass kicked by Nightwing. And he's all terrified, and Crane's all like, Jason, it's time you ditch the mask. I see that. Because fucking he doesn't know that Nightwing beat the fucking mask off of him. But he's like, yeah, now we're in a time for no masks. And he comes out with the shittiest fucking scars in the
On his
world.
forehead, a little
Yeah.
bit on his chin, another on his cheek, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Like you couldn't have like cut out like more around your eyes or something. Like it
Well,
was
no, like
shitty.
I genuinely thought that he was gonna like make his face look like a scarecrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, maybe, but like, just wear the fucking mask, you stupid piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
god damn it. Like,
I it was so like I told you he wasn't gonna use the mask. I said that they were gonna go down to the Batcave and it was gonna be some bullshit where he was like, I don't need the mask anymore. They just drug it out way longer than it needed to be to get to that conclusion. Like I knew
it's
that was gonna
so
happen.
fucking
And if
stupid.
you're listening to this podcast and be like, man, y'all bitch about a lot of stuff, as somebody who reads this, even as a comic book, like fucking, I don't want to say aficionado, but like we know a lot about comic books when it comes to Batman and stuff. Like, even being a knowledgeable comic book reader, I shouldn't be able to guess your fucking show. Like, I understand it. Some people will think about a show all day, every day, and like make up a better ending. I understand that. And we do this here on this podcast, but we think of shit we just would prefer.
And you can have speculation and you may be able to get one thing right out of a season.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know? Just being like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool if this happened? And it fucking
Yeah.
happens, you're like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome. Oh my god. Like this, like, we should not be seeing the fucking grass grow and be like, like we know exactly how this is gonna fucking go.
Yeah.
And then it comes out because again, like I made this joke last episode, but I'm like, you know what? They probably wasted all of their fucking budget on the last episode, and it's
Mhm.
gonna be great compared to everything else. At this point, I don't think it's possible to be good. Like I
Yeah.
genuinely don't think the ending of this season will be good at all.
Yeah. Unless, I mean, I would still love for them to bring back fucking Hawk somehow, and him and Dick Great, or him and Red Hood switch places. That would be better because I don't want that kid on the show anymore. But I actually, at this point, like, if they have a great spectacular last episode and it says Titans finale, series finale, I'd be like, yes, that was a great ending. Because fuck this show, man. Like, again, I wouldn't be watching this show if we didn't have this podcast.
Yeah,
It's bad.
no.
It's
Like,
bad.
and from what they are doing over at HBO Max, like it looks like they are finally making HBO Max a hub for like their like DCEU content
Yeah.
and creating a multiverse for that. I don't want this Titans in that multiverse.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they'll reboot it because we are gonna get a Red Hood, or that's the
That's
rumor,
the
right? That we're gonna
rumor.
get a Red Hood movie. which will probably be in the DCEU. So you wouldn't want Red Hood to be on this show anymore. And Doom Patrol, is it still good? I haven't been watching it.
It-
Oh
so
God. Oh no, not Doom Patrol,
I'm
not
just
Doom Patrol.
I'm just gonna tell you right now. Guerrera was a zombie and she ate ass.
Ooh, interesting. Maybe I will watch Doom Patrol. I gotta catch up on this show.
I would like that is genuinely Doom Patrol is Doom Patrol. Like I'm
Mhm.
sorry, it just is.
Yeah.
It's some people's favorite show, it's some people's least favorite show. I will say this. The show knows what it is, and
Mhm.
at some points I'm like, "Oh no, this is like starting to get in like Legends of Tomorrow territory." But
Mhm.
a friend of mine did reassure me. They're like, "Hey, Legends of Tomorrow has a very small box to play with because they're on primetime television.
Mhm.
Doom Patrol's on HBO Max that literally has zero boundaries.
Yeah.
So they can do whatever the fuck they want." And I'm like, "Okay, I can understand like them going a little too far sometimes, but then they reel themselves back in
Yeah.
with character development and good storytelling, unlike
Yeah.
Titans."
I actually never saw season 2 because I think that was right when HBO Max became a thing, right?
Yeah.
Season 2. So I never watched it. I think I watched the first episode. So I need to go back and watch it. But yeah, I'm intrigued by season 3 now. So I gotta go catch up. But yeah, the thing about Doom Patrol is it never felt like it belonged anywhere. It always felt like it was its own thing. So, I'm glad it doesn't feel like it ties to Titans and all this other shit. Although Gar was on Doom Patrol
Yeah,
for that
and that's
episode.
what I said. I said this on DC Alliance this week. Like, how the fuck do we get a better spinoff out of Doom Patrol than Titans is?
Yeah.
Titans was supposed to be the flagship series
Hmm.
for HBO Max and its spinoffs, or even the DC Universe apps and its spinoffs. Like, it's so bad. Like, I don't understand how that happens.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if they have multiple fucking cooks in the kitchen or what the case is, but yeah, dude, it's just I don't know. I don't know how you make this show like I just don't see how you get Batman wrong. Like that blows my mind. It's so simple. Like it's so simple, but I think everybody's trying to make like, oh, this needs to be a masterpiece and it needs to be this and that, and they just fucking ruin it. And it doesn't need to be this hard. And I will say that what's his name, the dude that plays Hawk, was talking about how like yeah, there was like I guess his original contract had him signed on for a Hawk and Dove spinoff, and he was like, yeah, that's what we were supposed to do because there was too many characters on the show. Like you can't develop that many characters when there's so many, and maybe we need to get knocked down to like 4 characters and that's it
Yeah.
because there is too many fucking people. And maybe that develops better. Like I would think have Starfire fucking go back home, get her off of Earth. Fucking maybe you keep Gar. I would want fucking Raven gone just because she's so fucking mundane. Unless they're gonna start having her do something else. And then maybe Superboy does his own thing and we get a new member of the Titans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kill Red Hood, of course. But yeah, like I wouldn't mind it being Grayson, Donna, and then you have Tim Drake coming on as the new Robin, and you still have Gar and Raven, and he's just training these younger people, and him and Donna are the main people.
Yeah.
Like, or switch out Donna for Dove, bring Dove back because I want to see more of her face. But for the most part, yeah, dude, there's too many people in this show, and yeah, I don't know who the fuck they're gonna fight next. I don't know what they're gonna do because the way they portrayed Scarecrow here was fucking awful. And I don't fuck. It's going to be another Batman villain next season.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
Fucking Mad Hatter or some bullshit like that. So, yeah, I don't know. This show sucks. What sucks too is I think some of these actors are really good, and it's kind of like Gotham where they have good actors, they just have shitty people behind the scenes that don't know what they're writing, don't know what they should fucking be doing, and it's unfortunate because I think the dude as Grayson is cool, but the way they're portraying Grayson is garbage.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Titan sucks. We got 2 more episodes and then we don't have to cover it anymore. So that'll be nice. But yeah, that's it. So we'll jump over to comics, which we only got really 2 comics for you
Well,
guys.
before we do that, I
Uh huh.
actually want to let everybody know that Comic-Con, usually the place to like see where all of the sales goes, um, we finally have numbers for DC.
Oh wow.
Yes. Starting in August, we finally have numbers for well actually what is this? September? No, this is October, September. Yeah, we just got these for August.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to let you guys know Batman 89 issue number 1.
Mm-hmm.
How many units? Because of course this goes by units sold,
Yeah.
not actual books because the units sold is what the comic shops order.
Yeah.
How many units sold do you think Batman 89 got?
That was already Tynan, right?
No, no, Batman 89 is
Oh, the
the one
series.
based off the movie, yeah.
Yeah. 20,000.
135,000 copies.
Fuck. Really?
It is number 2 behind King Spawn, which was number 1 with 479,908.
Damn.
Almost half a million copies of King Spawn in August. But Batman 89 issue number 1, 135,000 units sold.
I wonder how well it did at the comic shops, though.
I would like to know that as well. Batman issue 111 is right below that with 118,000 copies. Now, of course, issue 111 is probably like the first prelude
Mm-hmm.
to Fear State before Alpha, which
Yeah.
is sitting at number 5 with 98,000 units sold.
Hmm. That's
Now,
crazy.
the reason why I'm bringing all of these up, just wanted to let y'all know Batman sells because it's Batman.
Yeah.
Not because, yes, the writer will sometimes boost it up, sometimes the writer will actually lower it, but Batman is always going to sell. Batman is always going to be in your top 10 somewhere. So, with that being said, Joker sitting at number 11 at 78,000 copies sold.
Ugh, who's
That's a
still
Tynan
buying that?
book. Batman Catwoman, Tom King. This is issue number 6. 66,000 copies sold.
Wow.
He is actually now it is this low genuinely because it's 6 issues in. It's a
Mm-hmm.
12 issue mini maxi series. Issue 4 to 6 is usually where you see the biggest dips.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, now I will say the big dip that I was surprised at is not even Batman related. Tom Taylor, from issue number 1 to issue number 2 of Superman, Son of Kal-El,
Mm-hmm.
was actually like 30,000, and I was like, "Oh
Damn.
shit!" Like that is not looking good for him. But keeping on the Batman look of things, Detective Comics is sitting at 57,000 copies.
Hmm.
Um, I think Mariko Tamaki needs to really pick it up. I think that detective, like everything Batman related, should be closer in the tens,
Yeah.
not falling towards the 20s at all.
Yeah.
Usually, like, and I need to do a little bit more research, and I feel like I could do like a small little segment on this, but like I need to see where Batman was at his prime in
Mm-hmm.
selling and where what are the lowest, because some of these books I feel like even Mariko Tamaki, it's a decent story, and I think that the art has helped it a lot with Dan Mora,
Yeah.
but I think it could definitely be doing better. I genuinely think that Detective Comics could be sitting somewhere uh in the freaking 11 to 15 spot. That Detective Comics right now is number 25 in the rankings.
Hmm.
It's 25th best sold. Nightwing is sitting at 32. I Am Batman with John Ridley is sitting at 34 with only 49,000 copies sold.
Oof.
Yeah.
I think and all of those combined don't match like one of the top mangas.
Yeah, no,
So,
not at all. Not
yeah.
like and that's something to think about as well because I sent you that TikTok yesterday
Mhm.
about the guy that has been reading comics for like 29 years
Yeah.
and his opinion on how comics should be sold.
Similar
And
to ours.
it's yeah, and it's very similar to hey, you don't necessarily have to sell it physically like that. You could still tell stories digitally, just like Shonen Jump does, just like
Yeah.
manga does. But when it comes to physical releases that people would actually like be willing to purchase, you can do it like a hey, we're gonna do a 6 issue trade
Yeah.
like every few months or so for certain characters, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and he was saying just once a year, only for like solid stories. And that's what
Yeah.
I think. Like, I mean, that person in that TikTok made a lot of sense. He was like, for people that don't read comics regularly, you don't know how much shit we have to sit through like week to week. Like, it's about 90% of comics are shit, but that 10% is fucking glorious.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, look at this podcast. Like, we shit on books all the time. And it's not just because we think we're super harsh. It's just they're not good. Like,
Yeah.
some of them are not good. And we're not the only ones that think that. This is some random dude on TikTok talking about it who's been reading comics longer than we've almost been alive.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not
But
just us.
Batman Reptilian, 34,000 units sold, sitting at 73.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I just
it's
don't like. I don't know. I can't believe Joker's that high, and I think it's just because it's Joker.
yeah.
I don't think anybody's reading it.
And I think that like right now, we have been loving Catwoman
Hmm.
sitting at 83 right now with only 32,000 units sold.
That's terrible. That story is better than pretty much all the Batman books out,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And but there's a lot of rumors thinking that Ram V is going to leave the book and that book is going to be
Well, he's jumping to Venom, isn't he?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that sucks. Good luck for the Venom people though, because Ram V is a good storyteller. Anyways, let's jump over to comics because we only got really two to talk about. So we did have four books come out this week. One of them was Puzzle Box, and I have not read issue two because we didn't get issue two in our stuff. I
No,
think.
we haven't been getting them for some reason, but also for people who still have the DC Universe Infinite app, it is a day and date release.
Yeah,
So you will be getting Puzzle Box the same day it releases physically on the DC Universe Infinite app. So you could read it there.
yeah,
Um Now I also did not read Puzzle Box. Um Again, I've said this before. Rosenberg sometimes hits, sometimes he misses. There was a little bit of that story that was compelling, kind of. You know, the whole thing with Joker,
yeah,
like not telling the truth about his story of the whole birthday party. We were kind of having fun with it, but then you put the like non-linear storytelling as like the backup story, and it just doesn't
hmm,
make sense for you to do
yeah. That
that.
was weird.
So
Yeah.
there was just some creative choices that I wasn't really loving in that series anyway.
Hmm.
So like I would be totally down for like I don't know, like probably won't be doing it for the podcast, but like when it finally releases as a whole, reading it and then giving a general like, that story was all right or
Yeah,
whatever, you know.
yeah, yeah. Because it might be one of those things you need to read all at once. So you told me you didn't read Adventures, or so did you even read Arkham, or you skipped that too?
I skipped that too. I couldn't handle
So
the
you
art.
only read Batman.
I only read Batman. I
Okay,
will be reading Adventures later. But you can totally spoil it for me. It's totally
okay.
fine.
So yeah, another book came out that was you said this was like a one shot for something, right? Or it doesn't seem like a one shot. It seems like it's going to be an ongoing. When I read it,
Arkham City,
yeah,
the Order.
yeah.
No, it's. I thought that it was a tie-in to Fear State, is
It,
what it sounded like.
uh, yes and no, really? Because so it's dealing with this doctor that works at Arkham that is helping the GCPD round up everybody that escaped during A Day. And I have to say that making this A Day or whatever happen not in Batman comic books is the stupidest fucking choice. Whoever was in indecision of that is that's fucking dumb because in so many Batman comics, they talk about A-Day. I don't even fucking know what A-Day is. And I know this was in like Infinite Frontier or whatever. I had to read like the main book, right? Or
No,
some shit.
A Day is like we saw it when like Joker killed Bane. Like that was A Day.
In that little fucking one shot,
Yeah.
I don't think no, they it seems like they blew up Arkham. That didn't happen in that book. He just went to Bane and told him like, "I'm gonna kill you."
So it did happen in that book,
Uh-huh.
but it also like it was shown in other books as well. So Suicide Squad, I know we fell off of like the very first issue, like after that
Mhm.
very first issue, but that very first issue of Suicide Squad, the new revamped one with Peacekeeper or whatever, Peacemaker,
Yeah.
he was there as well. And he was like actually trying to get like a security guard out or whatever.
Mhm.
Like it's showing that that day
Yeah.
was seen from different perspectives in different books, but that was A Day.
Huh. Okay. Well,
They're making it out like the way they describe it and the way they talk about it
mhm.
seems like a much bigger deal than what they actually presented to us as readers.
Yeah, which is fucking terrible
Yeah.
because they make it seem like it was, fucking Endgame
Well,
big
no,
or No Man's Land
I
big.
was gonna that they're trying to make a No Man's Land type of
Yeah.
storyline, but you didn't give any context to that day.
Yeah, and No Man's Land happened in the main Batman book.
And it
So,
happened for several like months.
if I'm not mistaken,
It was
because
like a whole year.
yeah, it was like over a year because it was like Catalyst to the No Man's Land. Like it was multiple things, like multiple arcs that happened that were like all about the same fucking story, which
Yeah.
was crazy. And that's when comic books were like mwah, really awesome, great storytelling. And other teams would jump on and they would keep fucking the story going. That doesn't
Yeah.
happen anymore. But anyways, this book isn't really anything great. Like I was enjoying it at the start because I was like, oh, this is going to be an interesting perspective of a doctor talking about the criminals. And I was like, this could be interesting. And she was talking about like she was going in with the GCPD to like catch the criminals and like, oh yeah, this is how you got to treat him and you need to do this, and you need to do that. But then after a while, it started like they were like, oh, it's all about A-Day, and it just starts introducing all of these characters, and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about any of these characters. Like, what the hell? And then they went to the 10-eyed man and all this other crap, and then it turns out that this chick is actually hiding the 10-eyed man, and like I was just I had to stop reading through it midway. I was like, I can't. I was like, it lost me. Like I don't care. And I just skimmed through it, and then yeah, she's like helping somebody that ripped a jaw off of somebody, and she's like, if I help one person, it's all worth it. And I'm just like, okay, crazy lady. So yeah, that was that. So it is what it is. It lost me, and I think that's something to say about a book. Some people might enjoy that book, the hell out of it, but wasn't me. So I stopped reading. But Batman Adventures, I will say, was still continuing the solidness of the storytelling here. We got a new player that I've never seen in the show before, but it was an old mayor that was around when Batman first started. So we know that in previous issues, Batman or the mayor of Gotham died.
Yes.
And so there's a new mayoral seat available. So this old mayor came back
Oh,
and he.
did I don't know if like we like kept up with it, but like you do know the old mayor was like a part of the Court of Owls, right?
Oh, was he? Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, like
So.
he actually didn't die. He actually like was resurrected because
Oh,
all
shit.
the other Talons are usually resurrected, right?
Uh
Well,
huh.
like there was a whole story of that. That's what the first arc of season 2 was.
Oh, I
So
didn't see that shit then.
so
So
yeah.
yeah, so the mayor's dead still, technically. And what ends up happening was Batman doesn't like this guy. And so the cool thing about it is since he's doing an interview with Gleason, which is Summer Gleason, which is one of the reporters. And they're having a little chit chat, and he's like, "I'm just ready to come back to Gotham," and blah blah blah, and all this jazz. And he's like, "I miss Gotham," and essentially saying it looks like he's gonna run for mayor again. And they're curious. They're like, why were you gone for 15 years? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And everybody's in the Batcave, like Barbara, Dick Grayson, everybody's in the Batcave. Alfred's there, and everybody's like, he seems kind of like a good guy. Like, what's your deal with him? And Batman's like, let me tell you a story. And Alfred has this one joke. He's like giving Barbara some tea, and he's like, you might need this for this story, and like kind of saying like it's gonna be a long one. And they're like, oh god. And so he goes, and we go back to like year one of Batman, and he starts realizing like, oh, he's just beating up goons. Everybody kind of thought he was a myth still at this time, and this guy, like, was doing the whole politician thing where he started in like the city council, went up to being mayor, all this jazz. And he was saying like, we don't need costume people, blah blah blah, like we got to get the GCPD back to being whatever, same old in Gotham. He ends up winning by a landslide, and he introduces a new, like, he calls it the M Force, and it's just like the mayor force. And these guys are to take out villains and clean up the city and all this stuff, and to catch Batman because they shouldn't, like, the GCPD is stretched thin and all this jazz. And what it is this team is made up of like ex-military people that all have like shady records. And so Gordon's like, you got to know about this, like, and it's still very fresh with Batman, so he's meeting him for the first time. He's like, I think this is like against the law for me to do this, but it is what it is. And so he gives him the information. We may have got like in this book the first like disappearing Batman act where he's like, what, kind of situation going on there. And well, it turns out, of course, this mayor is shady. So like this M Force was going around killing a bunch of gangsters and stuff, and like just straight up massacring them. And what they were doing was taking the money and like saying like, oh, the gang spent it already. But like the force would take half and give the other half to the mayor and stuff. So that was what was happening. And Batman broke in this and took the money back and stuff like that. So the mayor was like, all right, well, we got to get this guy out of our way or we're not going to be able to continue operations. And it ends up they set up Batman in his first trap. So like he ends up going to this like old police jail or whatever, and it was a trap for him, and they're like, ha, we're gonna go ahead and kill you. He, of course, the mayor tries to get Batman on his side. He's like, you're very skilled, like, why don't you join the mayor force? And he's like, no thanks. And he's like, all right, well, he was like, I was never here, guys, take care of this. And of course, Batman escapes like by doing something with the electrical grid or some shit like that, shocks everybody, and then he makes the like gas pop up, and there's all this smoke, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or the shadows or some shit like that. And he ends up having everybody kill themselves in the crossfire, or at least get shot in the crossfire. I don't know if they all died, but they end up all shooting themselves in this gas because they can't see. And then there's like that stoic Batman in the gas shot, like, or in
Oh
the
yeah,
smoke,
yeah.
which looks pretty cool. And then Gleason, or this dude, is over there. The mayor's all like, "Oh yeah, we're good. Batman's dead." Of course, Batman comes crashing through the window, and he's all like, "I think you're celebrating a little too early." And he essentially threatens this guy because Batman knows that there's no evidence or anybody to basically say the mayor
Connect.
was there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he threatens him, and he's all like, "Leave, resign tonight." He's like, "You have no proof or whatever." And he was like, I'll make proof, or essentially saying I'll beat your ass if you don't fucking leave. And of course, the guy's scared, and he goes out. He makes a deal with Batman, saying like, I'll resign, but I got to do it my own way, essentially. And so he says that people killed the M Force in a trap, and he's so emotionally distraught by it that he needs to take time away, and he's gonna resign. So he gets out looking clean, and Batman's like, all right, at least he's fucking gone. Like, you know what I mean? So now he's coming back. And the question is there like, he was afraid of you then. Why is he not afraid of you now? And
Oh
so
fuck.
that's the next issue, is like, why is he coming back? So it's a pretty good story. And like, I gotta say, these comic book build up, like, they introduced a new character in this fucking issue, gave him character development, and gave him a story for the next issue. And I'm like, God
And
damn, that's so
they
good.
even added a new character last issue with the muscle, which I
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed. Like, and they even showed that there was a small little plot piece in that last issue that they hadn't really like finished
Hmm.
by the end. So you still know that the muscle is probably going to be coming back.
Yeah.
Like, I like it's, it's really, really sad in my mind that Batman the Adventures continues is a better written story, and of course it's Paul Dini, god
Yeah.
of writing Batman at this
Hmm.
point, is better than the main in continuity DC Comics Batman.
Yeah. Is Paul Dini the god? I think he probably, with all of the things that he has under his belt. That would be an interesting episode one day to see who are
Like
to rate our top 10 fucking
what
Batman
what is
writers.
what is the stereotypical question? What is your Mount Rushmore of Batman
Yeah, we could
writers?
do a Mount Rushmore of Batman writers. That would be interesting. As much as I love Tom King, I don't think I'd put him on there.
I don't think
Um,
so either.
but like, because does Alan Moore automatically get a seat? Because he only did the Killing Joke,
He
but is it
did.
that iconic that you have to put him on there?
It really depends on your taste because you have to ask yourself, does Frank Miller automatically get a seat or a spot in your Mount Rushmore because he's the one that changed the tone of Batman.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Frank Miller, as much as I don't like his later works, did more for Batman than Alan Moore, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Mhm.
Um, but you also I feel like you would really that is something I would love to talk to Tom King about because he's been reading comics for so long and obviously he writes them as well. Because you would have to put who's the writer that died a couple years back? That was huge. Neil something, right? Was it
No. Years back.
he died like a couple years ago. He was
Uh,
doing the Green Lantern stuff, I think, and then he got sick and then he passed away. He was like
uh,
fucking big into Batman. Like he was the reason like it wasn't Neil Adams, but I think
no,
Neil
no, no,
Adams
no.
he might have been the writer for Neil Adams at
Oh
the
no, no.
time.
Oh shoot.
I'm forgetting his name, but he died, I'm pretty sure. Cuz I know
Uh,
he was supposed to write an issue for Tom King, but he got too sick.
Denny O'Neil.
Yeah, Danny O'Neill. A lot of people say he changed the tone of Batman too.
Yeah,
Like he was a big reason why Batman got so popular like in the 70s or 80s. So, like after the campiness.
he died last year.
Okay. So I feel like everything
It.
happened before COVID.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
I know, for real.
So, so yeah, that maybe future episode. Maybe December when we get to December and it's those weird
It
fucking
starts to
times.
get less and less
Yeah.
with comic content.
So
Yeah, yeah.
we'll keep that on the back burner. Bring it up to us in the comments if we forget about it. But yeah, so that was Batman Adventures. I thought it was awesome. And then of course we got to move over to Batman 114. I don't think this. I wasn't like fuck this issue like I was the last issue with Ghostmaker, but I literally read this today and kind of already forgot a lot of it. So I will say
I
the art amazing as always.
There was a couple panels that I was not really like enjoying with this.
Oh really?
Yeah, especially like there's one where like Simon Saint is like,
I
"You
didn't like the
need to
goofy
kill him."
Batman. You know, where he's like, where he's shocked
Oh
with his
yeah, yeah, yeah.
eyes. You know.
No, like there's one point where like Simon Saint is like, he's taking the peaceful option off the table and like
Oh
he's like
yeah,
yelling and his eyes are
his
bulging
eyes are
out and
bugging.
everything. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
this okay, so setting the tone, this of course is the really it's the fight between um uh
Peacemaker one and
Peacekeeper
Peacemaker. Yeah.
yeah,
Peacemaker. Keeper.
Peacekeeper,
Yeah.
Peacekeeper 1 and Peacekeeper X. And again, one thing that we keep saying that Juice definitely keeps saying in this book, Batman is playing fourth fiddle,
Mm-hmm.
not first. He's not the
He's
headliner.
the triangle in the orchestra right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Like, bing, that's all he does.
Because there's a moment in this book where you open up with the fight between the two peacekeepers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Batman comes out of nowhere for like two panels.
Yeah.
And then they make it a point to be like, is Batman busy? And like they show him like off in the distance, like trying to fight off these other like freaking drones or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep the spotlight on the peacekeepers. This is a Batman book. I don't
Yeah.
care about these characters. I don't. Like, you need to make the story about Batman.
Yeah. Just
I
like in
don't.
Adventures, you introduce a new mayor character, but he had an involvement with Batman. and that's what made me interested in his character. Yeah, these two characters are fighting each other. Like Simon saying has his own thing going on. Doesn't make
Like,
sense.
and honestly, I'm looking at the freak. I'm scrolling now. I just described to you the entire book.
Yeah,
That's the book. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing of like major detail or anything. Like, the only thing is the fact that like Scarecrow is the one that's influencing Peacekeeper One.
yeah.
Like, that
And
is
have
it.
they explained how he can do that? Did
No,
correct me if I'm wrong, but did they ever say he got like Jarvis Tetch's stuff?
no.
Okay, because if they did say that, then that would make sense
Well,
because Tetch's
like
technology is
they
kind of
they didn't explain it,
like. Hmm.
but they did explain in that one like memory of Ghostmaker
Uh huh.
is that you would need them in a state of like
Oh
control
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. So you would assume, oh, he probably is taking over people's minds,
yeah.
as well as using some sort of fear injection of some sort.
Yeah,
So
so literally about like fucking 18 of the 24 pages or whatever in this book are just straight fighting of Peacekeeper and Peacekeeper X or whatever.
yeah, and
It
then
starts off or you go for it?
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
because I
I'll just
completely forgot about the Miracle Molly stuff.
Yeah, so here's the thing I'm going to say, right? Like I think Miracle Molly has a great design. I know you said it's too futuristic for you or whatever. I think she has a great design. I like her the way, at least the way Jimenez draws her, because we had that Miracle Molly one shot that was awful. But
It's
the
the
way
same
he,
artist as that Arkham that
oh,
was
that
this
makes a
week.
lot of sense. But anyways, I love the way she looks here. Um, but I also feel like Miracle Molly might be better if she wasn't a human. And, like, she was just a straight cyborg trying to have, like, real emotions. Like, I think that would be a better story character than what she is right here. That's just my take. If I were to rewrite her, I would make her a full-born cyborg, like, and she's trying to, like, she's essentially Pathfinder from Apex, trying to find her mate.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so, anyways, she's trying to like get some stuff done and blah blah blah. Because like, how much would again like how much would it be? Because here she's talking about how she's not mad at the people of Gotham. She's mad at the system that made them the way they are and shit like that. And she wants to destroy the system. How much of a better story would that be if it was a robot that understood that? Like,
Yeah.
of the people are getting fucked over by the system. And like I'm made to destroy these people that don't understand, like I think that would be a better story, but that's just me. I'll rewrite her in the future. But like, so there's all of that, and then at the very end she's like, because she knows what is gonna happen, she knows what fucking Scarecrow's trying to do. So the very last panel is Batman escapes this super explosion of all of these. Simon Saint was like, blow up all the drones and blow up Peacekeeper X after like he got fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
um
And they're like, this is gonna take out a whole like city block. He's like, it's worth it, god damn it. And
Yeah,
it's like,
because he
Jesus
doesn't want
Christ.
Batman to get the technology.
Yeah.
And then we have like this, like it's supposed to be this epic one panel page of her holding out, doing the classic like "come with me if you want to live" stance, and she's like, "I know what Scarecrow's gonna do. Like, you got to come with me." I will say the last page looks pretty awesome. That's usually supposed to be Batman in that stance. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like, and I get it. They want to try to make Miracle Molly this badass character, but like we've said a million times during this fucking run, you haven't made me care for any of these fucking characters.
And that's the thing also is you could have also in this type of scenario, like you could have had a Barbara, you could have had a Dick Grayson, you could have had a Tim Drake. Like we have not gotten anything from Miracle Molly.
Yeah,
Anything.
yeah.
And you
Except for
can't
her knowing like everything about Bruce, like
and
immediately.
but you can't assume also that everybody is reading the tie-ins.
Yeah.
So I'm just because I saw Miracle Molly in the first issue, we all like that she appeared in. We
Mhm.
didn't like that issue because it was kind of bullshit how she was just like, "Oh, I know everything about Batman. Oh, I know
Yeah.
everything about Bruce Wayne. Oh, I know everything that there is to know about everything in Gotham."
Mhm.
Like he is. We've said this before. He makes his characters too OP,
Yeah.
and it's it's overcompensating for like, hey, this is a new character. You need to love her. Why? Because she's the best at everything.
Yeah. Yeah, he uses the Dragon Ball Z formula for Batman
Yes.
and it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
No, it's
the
not great.
only character that could possibly work for would be Superman. And I don't think it would work there either. So
No, I
like,
don't think it would either.
yeah.
And the problem with this is you can't expect me to love this character as much as you love this character
Yeah.
because it's your creation, Tynan, and I understand that you want to share your creation with the world,
Mhm.
but again, it's this weird obsession of like, hey, all these characters that I know and love need to have the spotlight in a Batman book.
Yeah.
No, they need a spotlight in their own book, and Batman needs the spotlight in Batman's book.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's again, I don't Batman has been fucking the fifth wheel throughout this whole Tynan series. Like during Joker War, Joker was the star.
Yeah.
Like as much as we didn't like that series, fucking of course he was trying to force feed us Punchline as well. And I'm surprisingly she's fallen off because she's just been pushed to the back of books and like nobody
Yeah.
knows what the fuck's happening with her. And I know she's getting a Prime 1 statue. That's all I know, or one of those. And so she'll be around. Somebody else will probably write her a lot better. She essentially was just like, let's have her fight Harley Quinn like 50 times. Like,
Hmm.
that's what they did with her. And, like, I don't know, man. It's just so weird that this was such a bad run. Like, and luckily it's coming to an end. Like, we got two
Yeah,
more
and
months.
and after this issue, like again, we have, like you said, 2 more months. That means we have what, 4 issues of
Yeah.
Batman? 4, almost
Bunch of
5
tie ins, too.
with the tie-ins as well. Yeah. Like he should have just left. Like
Yeah.
I'm like as bad as that is to just be like, "Hey, no, like I'm not going to finish this. Like I
Hmm.
just need to leave." That's what he
He
should
should
have
have left
did.
after Joker War.
Yeah.
Like, being like, you top it off at 100, you're good. Joker's gone. What's her name's in prison. Let somebody else take over after that. But no, we just kept going on. He introduced all the anime characters, or that was even before, right? Because Ghostmaker was in Joker War.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it was unfortunate. Like, I feel like had he not brought in all, you could eliminate Miracle Molly, fucking Ghost Clown Hunter, and fucking, I mean, maybe you can keep Miracle Molly because you could have made her bigger and got rid of Ghostmaker and Clown Hunter and just focused on making Harley Quinn a part of the Bat family. Like, because that's what he was trying to do at
He
the start.
he was writing Harley Quinn so good. And
Mm-hmm.
then he's just like, "Yeah, no. Like
Yeah.
I'm just going to push her to the side as well."
Yeah. He's like, I didn't create her. I can't make money off her. Like,
Yeah,
why am I going to keep giving money
essentially.
to Paul Dini? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I thought that's what he was trying to do. Like, I thought by the end of his fucking story, Harley Quinn was going to be a full fledged member of the Bat family. But he just kind of gave up on that. And I was just like, why, dude? Like, she sells fucking comics too. You know what I mean? Like, put her on the cover and, like, oh shit, blah, blah, maybe she's not a Joker, but she's better than fucking Miracle Molly and all this. I still can't believe Miracle Molly got like fucking 40 variants.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? But yeah, man, like, I don't know. This was such a fucking depressing episode. Like, we've just been shitting on stuff this whole time,
Now,
and we don't
I
want
will
to be.
say no,
Like,
and that's something as well because I always feel bad for like I could only imagine because I've said this before on Ranger Alliance because I'm slowly starting to realize how much of a shit show Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is. Like
mhm,
it's horrible writing, and
yeah,
it's just the way '90s television was back in the
mhm,
day. But like for here, I can only imagine like a brand new Batman fan is jumping onto Batman News Weekly and he just happens to read the most recent or listen to the most recent episode
yeah,
108. Oh wow. Oh, okay.
yeah.
So I shouldn't be
Uh,
watching or listening to any Batman related stuff. Cool. Uh I guess I'll go be a Superman fan, I guess. Like,
yeah.
you know,
And then he
and
just starts
it's
reading Bendis. Let me start here.
oh
Uh,
shit.
but I
No,
mean, it's like that TikTok said though, right? Like 90% of stuff we read in comics is pretty garbage. But there's that 10% that will make you a fan for life,
yes.
right? And it's unfortunate. And I would love to sit here and slob on the knob of every Batman product and fucking story if it was good. But I'm just not built like that. I'm not built like
Yeah.
somebody that can love everything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
Um,
neither am I. And I will say this: next week there's going to be a lot more Batman content, and I think as much as we are like shitting all over this, not next week, but the week after that, we're gonna have all the information from fandom. So
yeah,
we're gonna have a lot to talk about. And there's probably gonna be a lot of positive stuff.
yeah,
Again, you can watch us separately on our separate streams that we're gonna have. I'm gonna have one for the GUA. Juice is gonna have one for his own YouTube stream, probably streaming fandom. But I just wanted to let you guys know what we're going to be talking about next week when it comes to comics. Batman 89 #3 is going to be coming out. Batman the Audio Adventures Special #1.
that's gonna be interesting.
So I think they may be either like actually like physically
Animating it.
releasing what the like episode was
Yeah.
into comic book form, maybe. And
If
if
you can
that's
read
true,
along, that'd be cool.
if you could read along, that'd be cool. But like if it is the exact same thing, we would probably just say that and then
Yeah.
refer to the last episode that we actually talked about it with.
Yeah.
But Batman the Imposter, of course, that is the writer of The Batman with Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
Um his the writer for that script actually made a Batman book. You said you have already read it.
Yeah. I'll
We
leave it
will
at that.
keep yeah, we'll
Yeah.
we'll we'll talk about it more. Batman Urban Legends, Future State Gotham. Uh we haven't been reading the Harley Quinn animated series. Uh but I will say this. You've probably already read it. It got spoiled for me. I know what
What?
happens in Strange Adventures.
Oh, really? I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
So,
Um I got it spoiled, but hopefully by the time I read it this upcoming week,
mhm.
I'll probably forget about it and then read it and be like, "Oh shit." But Strange Adventures comes out, we usually talk about that because we talk
Somebody in your
everything
group
comic.
spoil it or what?
A friend of mine did, yeah.
Oh man,
Um
that's when you cut your friends out of your life. Sorry, spoilers. That's a cardinal sin right there.
and then that's pretty much it because I mean, we've kind of dropped off Joker,
Yeah, fuck
but
Joker.
I mean, apparently that's still going to be a thing after Tynan leaves. It's so weird.
It's not a Joker book.
It's not.
It's everything but. It's essentially what Batman is right now. It's
Yeah.
everybody else but Joker. They just throw Joker in there for like a panel or two, and then he's out.
Yeah.
Like
So hopefully we will be a little bit more positive next episode. We have the
we still
next
got
episode of
Titans though.
Titans to
Yeah.
talk about.
So well,
We'll see. We'll
yeah.
definitely see.
But anyways, Clay, what do you got up for the week, man?
So this well actually by the time we're recording this Thursday, by the time it releases, you guys should check out Star Wars Alliance. I just recorded an episode earlier this week talking about all of the Star Wars news and talking about the Knights of the Old Republic remake that is happening. Some announcements for books just came out that we will be talking about next week. But the next big thing we will be talking about, as far as my other podcast goes, will be on DC Alliance. We're going to be making our assumptions on. I think we're going to be talking about 3 predictions that we think are going to be announced at DC fandom that, of course, hasn't been officially announced. We're just
Hmm.
making crazy assumptions. But also, we do review Doom Patrol, so
Oh, nice.
um, it has been crazy. So, like I said, like just watch that last episode. You will be like, "What the fuck is this show that I'm watching?" But also, thank God, this is the good show when it comes to DC content over at HBO Max. But yeah, that's basically really it right now. There's gonna be a lull when it comes to DC news just because fandom is coming out,
Yeah.
and I will warn everybody. Last year, like an hour before fandom started, like freaking trailers started to leak and stuff. Be patient. Just wait for the actual stream. It makes
Yeah,
it
if you
worth
want
it.
to come hang out in our stream, either of our streams, definitely come do that. Yours is gonna have multiple people, right?
Yes, we're kind of making it like a big like reaction thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you just want Juice reacting by himself, definitely come by my stream or go check out Clay's stream as well. And then we'll do that. But yeah, definitely come hang out with us. And then just you'll see me reacting to it. If you are gonna watch it on your own, what I'm most likely gonna do is record the whole fucking thing. Or what I did last year was I recorded right before the trailer started, did my reactions, and then posted them on fucking my reaction channel. So I'll probably do that over the weekend. It'll just be a bunch of reactions if unless I can find out a way to edit them while I record, which would be crazy. But anyways, as for me, definitely go check out my reaction channel or my gaming channel if you guys are listening to this on YouTube. All of our links are in the description of the stuff. By the way, Clay, I don't know if you want to update your stuff. I know you probably have everything on your link tree, but if you go look at it, I changed the way mine are listed. So they look
Oh, okay.
different.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
easier to just click on what a person wants now since we have more space. So if you got a new one of those, I could put it in there. But all of our links are there. Clay's does have a link tree. And so yeah, definitely go follow my stuff. I've been doing more commentary style videos on my reaction channel. I would love to get your guys' feedbacks. Go watch those. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And same thing goes for the gaming stuff. My PlayStation died. We all know that last week. So
Womp womp.
I haven't got the box yet. I called them on Monday and I just got the email today that it shipped. So I might not even get the box until Monday again. So I'm like,
That
fuck.
sucks.
And then it'll probably take like 3 or 5 days to get over there. And then they work up to it up to 20 to 30 day business days. So
Jesus.
yeah. So Deathloop is gonna be gone out of everybody's mind by the time I get my shit back. So that's gonna suck.
Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah,
Cool."
that game came out like 2 years ago, right? Like that's how the gaming world is, you know. But anyways, also by the way, if you just want some interesting information, go check out all the Twitch leaks that happened because
Holy
goddamn, that was
fuck.
fucking
That was
interesting.
wild.
Yeah, but I want to say I respect the Twitch community for using it as content and jokes. Like
Yes. Yeah.
literally, like Ludwig was talking to like Mizkiff, and he was all like, "Number 23, don't speak until you're spoken to." Number 23, like, and so like they're shitting on each other about how much they make, and I think that's the way some of these situations just need to be handled. So that's pretty fun. Go check that out if you want some random not Batman content. But that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. As always, he is Fanboy Clay. I am Juice Wayne. And remember, Batman is awesome.